universe of beer and music.
Hey everybody, it's me, Dr. T, back with another foray into the wilderness that is beer and music. Hopefully you're going to come along for the ride and have some fun along with me, because tonight's going to be a fun one. Tonight, the theme of the show is second bests. We're going to look at a beer tonight from a brewery in Decorah, Iowa. A brewery by the name of Toppling Goliath. They are a very successful brewery. They opened in 2009 in Iowa, stayed in Iowa. They're very true to their roots, even though they're now distributing to 30 different states. Everything is still produced in the little town of Decorah, Iowa. And they're really, really well known for a series of IPAs that I call the Sues. It all started with King Sue. You might, I'll put a picture of the can up here because you'll probably recognize it. It has a great big T-Rex on the front. That's Sue. King Sue is a double India Pale Ale brewed with Citra hops. They also have Pseudo Sue, double dry hopped Pseudo Sue, double dry hopped King Sue, and Seismic Sue, which are all various forms of pale ales or IPAs. Seismic Sue, as you could probably guess, is a triple IPA, but that is kind of their flagship. Everybody knows Toppling Goliath for King Sue. So this is like their second most known beer. This is Pompeii. This is an IPA brewed with Mosaic hops. Comes in at 6.3 ABV, and their description of it is that it is brewed with the same attention to detail as the beautiful mosaics that grace the prominent buildings in Pompeii, thus tying the name of the hop in with the name of the beer. It features mango and pineapple hop flavors with a medium-bodied feel to tantalize the senses. Well, we will see if our senses are tantalized, but I can tell you Toppling Goliath does put out some pretty darn good beers. In fact, this is pretty timely in that just last week as I am recording this in the middle of July, Toppling Goliath won the U.S. Beer Open Grand National Championship. They were crowned the best beer in the country at the U.S. Beer Open. But this isn't the first time that they won that honor. They also won that honor in 2021. So they're definitely a strong producing, strong performing family of beers. But this particular offering, you can get, it's not quite as prevalent as the Sues, but if you go to a good bottle shop, if you're in the 30 states that they distribute to, you can probably find it. All right. That is a good looking beer. It's dark gold to orange, somewhat hazy, but not as hazy as some New England IPAs that you see. This is still considered a hazy IPA, but it is not super hazy. Definitely get the tropical fruits. I can get the mango. I'm getting a little peach in there too. But those two, mango and peach, surprisingly don't smell too radically different from each other. A little bit of light floral notes, maybe just on the edge of perception, a little bit of resinousness, resiny, piney. That is good. That is a little different. If you're an IPA lover and you're lamenting the course that breweries are taking, craft beer is taking away from having bitterness, you will like this. This does have a lot of fruit up front. You get the mango, the pineapple, a little citrus, but it does give way pretty quickly to a firm, not overpowering, not astringent by any means, but a firm bitterness, earthy, maybe a little piney bitterness at the finish. Finish is fairly dry. Medium body, medium carbonation, not overly carbonated, but certainly a little bit lively. All around, this is a solid IPA. If you are kind of looking for something that's maybe leaning more to a West Coast IPA than most beers these days, this is a nice hybrid. I don't think you would be disappointed with this beer. So, he smiles devilishly, knowing what he's about to unleash on his viewers. Went with a band that actually got their name accidentally. I'll explain that after the video. And they came out of the punk rock scene in the 80s and had a strong cult following, but never really rose to any type of prominence. Until the 90s, they put out one song that just did great. Got a lot of radio play, a lot of recognition. Probably, if you were alive in the 90s and of music listening age, if you were a zygote, maybe you wouldn't have heard it, but, or watch MTV or VH1, you've probably heard of their big hit. But tonight we're going to watch probably their second biggest hit. And you might see a familiar face in the video. They're good at that. But let's check it out. All right, folks. Buckle up. So, what did you think of that? That was the Butthole Surfers. Although, as I alluded to earlier, that wasn't their intended name. They were formed in 1981 in San Antonio, Texas, by singer Gibby Haynes and guitarist Paul Leary. They emerged from a hardcore punk scene and were known for just crazy stage performances, bizarre music, using bizarre recording techniques, and pervasive black comedy, black humor, gallows humor. Gallows humor is used a lot to take very sensitive, upsetting, disturbing subjects and make light of them, not only for comedic effect, but also to spur examination of those topics in a way that might make it slightly more approachable, let you actually think about very disturbing things, maybe in a different way. But that was who was in my room last night. May have caught a couple little interesting tidbits. Did you catch the glassware? They're using beaker glassware. You will see in my glassware short that I actually own a piece of beaker glassware. Just adore it. There's no beer purpose to it, but there's a brewery that has a chemistry tie-in with their name called Abjuration Brewing over by Pittsburgh, that their glassware is beaker glassware. And secondly, did you catch the bartender? Yeah, the bartender. That was Flea, the bassist from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Butthole Surfers like doing that, sneaking odd little cameos in. There's actually even an otter cameo in the video to their biggest hit, which you may not recognize the name, but I'm willing to bet 9 out of 10 of you will recognize the song when you hear it. Link below. Pepper. They released it in 1996. It was their big radio hit. It actually hit #1 on Billboard's Modern Rock Tracks chart and got massive airplay on the radio, MTV, VH1, used in movies extensively. It's a very popular song. But in that video, there's actually a cameo by Eric Estrada, the actor from Chips way back in the day. So thought that was pretty humorous. But as far as the band goes, the name is not their intended name. In fact, they used to change the band name every show they did because they were merchants of chaos. They just would make up a new name every time they did a show. But their very first paid concert, the announcer forgot the name he was told that they were going under. And they had a song called Butthole Surfer. And that was the first song on the set list that night. And the announcer just picked that and said, here are the Butthole Surfers. And the name stuck. And they stuck with it after that. But they performed under a bunch of different names, such as the Dick Clark 5, 9 centimeter worm makes own food, the Vodka Family Winstons, Ashtray Babyheads, Ed Asner is gay, Fred Astaire's asshole, the right to eat Fred Astaire's asshole, the inalienable right to eat Fred Astaire's asshole, and Zip Gun, among many others. Once they started going by the Butthole Surfers, the name did give them some trouble. As you can imagine, venues were loath to put Butthole Surfers up on their marquees. DJs wouldn't say the name of the band if they were playing one of their songs. They would go with some type of abbreviation, some like BH Surfers or something to avoid having to say butthole. Go figure. It's pretty funny, though. In 1996, Rolling Stone was interviewing Gibby Haynes and asking him if maybe their name kept them from greater exposure over the years, and asked him if he could go back in time, would he change the name of the band maybe to something more palatable? And for my sensitive viewers, you may want to mute the video at this point. Haynes replied, "I would name the band I'm Going to Shit in Your Mother's Vagina." Okay, you can turn it back up now. Yeah, that's punk rock. They are hardcore punk rockers at heart. This song that we just watched, it was one of their more approachable songs up to that point. It's why it's probably their second most recognized song, second most played song, got airplay on the radio, got some airplay on VH1, MTV back in the day. But their earlier stuff is even more chaotic and less approachable. I'll put a couple links below for anyone who's truly curious or masochistic. Obviously, in that video, the titular main character, the guy who comes into the bar driving his hot rod, he's having a bad time. He's having a hard time with demonic interference, for lack of a better phrase. Obviously, the waitress slash love interest is some form of demon. But did you catch the little girl on the roller skates that causes the ambulance to wreck while she casually enjoys her lollipop in the middle of the street? She actually had a little devil tail, so she wasn't just an innocent child about to get killed by an ambulance. They like to put little tidbits in their videos like that I do enjoy. But if you like what I'm doing here, regardless of whether or not you like the song, if you give the video a like, subscribe. And when you do subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell, because I'm putting out new content minimum weekly. And leave me a comment. If there's something you want to ask or something you want to know or something you want to complain about, leave me a comment. I love to interact. I will answer all comments in one way or another. You may not like the answer, but we're all adults. Kinda. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tonight. I think it's a fantastic performance. And this is a very fantastic beer. Approachable, not as well known, not as popular as the King Sues and Pseudo Sues from Toppling Goliath, but a quality beer nonetheless. Go out and get you some. Until next time, happy drinking.